I'm back with another case study. This one is going to be powerful. This is a single male who retired early, too early, and they are going to run out of money. And now we have to discuss, how do we plan differently? Do they have to go back to work? Do they need to spend less? I'm going to show you the mistake they made so that you guys do not make it. And I do not want you to retire too early and go, look, am I going to run out of money? And I also don't want you to retire too late where you're 75 with 10 million bucks going, look, I don't need 10 million. I should have retired earlier and prioritized my health and spent time with family and friends. So today's video is a real case study. Please know this is not financial advice, what I'm going to go through today. This is for fun, informational, educational purposes only. See the disclosure here about what we're going to be going through. Real case study. I'm going to go through Monte Carlo simulations. Going to be showing you a ton of cool stuff. But it's just important to remember, if you're going to execute anything, please consult a financial advisor, a state attorney, tax preparer, you name it, before you actually do any of this. If you don't already know, I make lots of videos and podcasts around early retirement subjects because I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. I am the vice president at Root Financial Partners, and I'm a certified financial planner. So if you are looking for guidance around tax strategy and withdrawal rates and health insurance and investing, you're in the right spot, and I encourage you to subscribe. If all those topics sound terrible to you, please don't subscribe because you will not like my videos. And I'm very transparent. I am not going to make videos about best new credit card of 2025 and travel hacks, and that's just not my thing. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. I want to make videos to ensure you don't run out of money and that you optimize what you've worked so hard for. So let's hop in and let's meet this person. So if we go to their profile here and everything I'm going to show you, we're going to go through all the what if scenarios and what are they on track for. This is all available to you. So if you want to play around with this tool, you can go in the description below in this episode. And if you want in real time, you can play around with the same what if scenarios that we're about to go through here. So you can check that out. Now, this person's 59 years old and they are retired. They are no longer working today. When we started talking about their retirement expenses and they came to me and they had already retired, $6,000 a month is what they wanted to spend. Now, I don't like a $6,000 a month blanket expense. And that was my first concern with this person. $6,000 a month, that sounds good, but hey, what about long-term care? What about health care before 65? What about education and helping out potential nieces or nephews? How often are we buying new cars? What about vacations? Is that included in the $6,000 a month? What about weddings? What about if you downsize? I could go on and on. I want you to add in the goals in a major way because $6,000 a month is this person trying to just go, yeah, I think I live off $70,000 a year or something like that. But you need to plan extra for healthcare the first 5 years and extra for vacations. And then you need to decrease that when you're 80, when you're probably not spending as much on travel and things like that. So that was my first concern. But going on, this person made a healthy income, $185,000 a year. And in terms of assets, they have $12,000 in their bank account, which is way too low in my opinion. They have $1.2 million. Nearly $1 million of it is in a 401k, and then $245,000 is in what I call a superhero account, which is a brokerage account to help you retire early. And then they own their home worth about $500,000, no mortgage. So they did not go through a financial plan. They did not like their job and they wanted to quit. And so they said, look, I've got $1 million plus. I'm not a big spender. I think I'm on track. Now, the first thing I noticed with their plan when we started putting the numbers in is I said, not only is your plan decreasing, so right now, yes, it says you're on track to pass away with $500,000. And this person is not married and they don't have children. And this didn't scare them. They said $500,000. If I were to leave with that, like, not the end of the world. In fact, I'd actually have this be lower. They wanted this to be lower. I said, look, I get that. Now, I don't want you to run it too close, but I also don't want you to die with $2 million. But my concern is we're not taking into consideration everything in here. And so you told me $6,000 a month is kind of what you're spending, but what about health? And I said, in addition to healthcare, massages, physical therapy, what other things can you add in here? Maybe if we add in $5,000 a year on that, maybe we add in another $15,000 a year on vacations. What if we just do that? I haven't even changed anything else. Well, now they're on track to maybe pass away at 90 with $70,000. That's cutting it pretty close. So could this person do it? Sure, maybe they could, but that's not a rosy retirement. In fact, what if markets don't do well? And what if all of a sudden, they go, hey, we're more of a conservative investor now. We don't like volatility. That's just not our thing. Well, now all of a sudden they're running out of money at 77. What if, on the other hand, they go, I'm totally cool. I'm like the most aggressive investor you've ever met. Okay, well, that's going to change the plan, but it's still putting us pretty close. And so because of that, this is where we need to be really careful. And inside the plan, I want someone to dream big. I don't want them to go, yeah, $6,000 a month, I could do it. I want them to go like, oh yeah, vacations, education planning. I want to like really dream big. So this person and I had a conversation. I said, I need you to dream big with me. And we said $8,000 a month is what they wanted to spend. And healthcare for the first, just from now until Medicare, $5,000 a year. It's going to be lower than that. And then I said, hey, how about another $10,000 for vacation? Now, they're not a big traveler, so they didn't really like when I recommended this, but they were like, okay, fine, if you're going to make me. I said, well, if we change these things, like this is a problem. Like we're going to run out of money at 75. And then their immediate reaction was like, okay, well then I could get by on $5,000 a month. I'm like, no, I know you could. That's not the point of this. You want to spend $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year in retirement. Hey, you're going to have over $1 million at the end. And if that's what's important to you, then by all means. But my concern is that you told me that you thought this is what you wanted to spend, but I don't want you to just live a retirement where you're like living off eggs and top ramen. So because of that, I want to make sure that we're planning appropriately. So we ended up coming to $8,000 a month. That's nearly $100,000 a year, plus another $10,000 on vacations and then some extra healthcare stuff. So that's a big difference. So they were like, hey, because of this, do I have to work longer? I said, you do. And they go, for how long? I said, well, what if you work till 62? And the reason I showed them this, and this was powerful, is it made a difference. 62 got them right to the end, but we really spent more time going $8,000 a month. Am I really going to spend $8,000 a month for the rest of my retirement? Probably not. So there's something here called the retirement smile. And I like explaining this because if you see here, retirement spending shows inflation adjusted. Retirement spending smile, this is saying, well, what if, for example, you spend more in the first few years of your retirement while you have your energy and your health, and then it decreases because you're not spending as much, and then it shoots back up again because there's health care and long-term care and medical stuff and lots of things going on. So if we were to look at an average retiree spending as opposed to $8,000 a month just on a linear model throughout retirement, that changes things as well. So it's not what we want to rely on, but if we're looking at an average retiree spending, and this is, I mean, guys, they first want to spend $72,000 a year, and now I'm saying I think you guys should be spending, this person, literally north of $100,000 a year, and now they're on track for $780,000. So this is where we had a conversation as to, hey, what's most important to you? Like, do you want to work 3 more years? And they're like, I'm really not that excited about it. I said, great. What if you worked until 61? But you spent $7,000 a month. And they were like, oh, that feels way better. Like 2 more years of work, that just doesn't feel nearly as long. I said, well, great. Like, look at this outcome. Now there's $1 million at the end. And yeah, you're not spending $8,000 a month. You're spending $7,000, but there's still health. There's still vacations. And this resonated with them a lot more. So I don't want you guys to retire too early, like this person who now, unfortunately, but is the reality, they were making $185,000 a year when they retired. They have to go back and either try to get that job again. They have to go try to get a different job that would probably pay them less. And they actually were bored at work. And that was one of their concerns as to why they retired, because they were no longer stimulated by work. But look, now they might find a job that's worth $110,000 a year. So if we were to modify that, we go back to the screen here, they find another job for $110,000 instead of $185,000. Well, that changes things. Like that, they're not saving as much money because now all of a sudden, once again, they're not making as much. So this person's going to be okay, but there's some work that needs to occur here. And I want to bulletproof their plan. So because of this, I want to always be careful when we're looking at planning or you're running your own projections. Don't retire just because you're really sick of it at work. If a health event occurs and you really cannot work, ask yourself, okay, how much would I really love to spend? It's the lifestyle of spending that really changes a retirement. I have certain clients that want to spend $20,000 a month. Without that, they're like, I don't want to even retire. Other clients go, look, more than $6,000 a month, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. So because of that, I encourage you, please put a lot of weight and time and effort and energy into writing out what are your expenses? How much would you love to spend? What does the first 5 years of retirement look like? Are you going to maybe downsize? Are you going to do a home remodel? Because, and I'm going to go to this person's example here so you guys can see the power of good planning. If I hop back in here and I add in a new item, I'm going to show you what if this person, we're going to go in here and we're going to go to goals and we're going to go into property and we're going to go into relocate. This person is going to downsize in retirement, and they've made that very clear. They're going to move closer to a family member, so we're going to call this downsizing. Now, they were going to do it now, but they might do it in a few years because they are going to keep working, so they're going to do it in 2026. They live in Idaho, but I believe it's Nevada where they're going, and let's assume it's a small place. Some of you guys are going to be like, what's really $300,000? But there are places, and it's a small place on a property where they live. It's a whole thing. So property taxes for this person, we're just going to put $3,000. I'm making some assumptions here on insurance and maintenance and lots of assumptions. But we're just going to assume they sell their home and they go downsize and this is their new property. Well, if they do that in 2 years, we save that into their plan. Look what just happened. Well, what you're seeing is there's a big jump here because now there's about $200,000 more because they sold their home, and now they get to actually go, downsize. Now, some of you guys are like, I want to buy a second home. Well, it's going to be a different scenario for you. You can run the same projection. Now they're on track for $2 million. So then this person might be going, maybe I work one more year and I plan on downsizing. Okay, could they still do that? Sure. I showed them, hey, what if you downsized right now and truly never went back to work ever again? They went, could I do that? I said, you certainly could. I mean, look at this. It's showing $1.3 million at the end, but you told me you're all about investing and allocations and all that. What if your investments don't do well? And what if you don't go back to work, you do downsize, and you invest conservatively? Well, we run the risk of running out of money. So I just want to make sure when we're planning, we're thinking about what allocation maybe resonates with you. Do we really want to cut it that close? Probably not. So this is a powerful tool to help you plan your own retirement. Of course, that is why I offer this. Now, please know, there's no one-on-one guidance that comes with it. This is if you want to run your own what-if scenarios, plan your retirement, either think about, should I downsize? Should I work longer? Should I spend more? Hopefully this is helpful. If it is, please like this video and share it with whoever you want to retire early with. See you guys next time.